Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about the newly leaked class perks for the Techmarine class in Space Marine 2. Now, Techmarine is set to launch in Q1 of next year for the Year 2 plan, and a big question a lot of people had is whether or not the perks will be good on this thing, because a huge issue in general for most of the classes in Space Marine 2 is that their perks are not amazing in a lot of cases, and only really have like one or two really good build paths, and then everything else is mediocre or outright bad. If you have like your brand new class come out, and it's just like terrible perks across the board, no one's going to want to play it. So they really do need to like lock in for making these perks good. And some of these do look pretty powerful. I'm reading through them here today. Now I will mention these are obviously data mined, so it's not like perfect English in all cases, and they might be subject to change later. But for now, I actually think they look pretty good. So first up, we have Shoulder Gun. Ability: unleash a powerful volley from the shoulder gun. The starting perk is also you can detect and activate sentry turrets. They will attack enemies until they run out of ammo or are destroyed. Now, we already knew about the shoulder gun. This sounds like a pretty cool ability. Obviously, we have no idea how much damage it actually does and how good it will actually be, but the idea of having sentry turrets on top of this that can also be attacked by enemies, which means they will be a distraction, is a pretty great idea. TF2 Engineer is super popular for a reason, and sentry turrets and like defense playstyles are very popular in horde shooters in general, and we also have the heavy class already kind of being a defensive mobile turret, but in that case, he is the turret, and these would be like little minions you have. Minion builds are pretty fun, and I hope these are actually pretty strong. And also just the idea like you can shoot them until they run out of ammo, and they have like an ammo you can probably refill. That could be pretty fun. We'll see how this actually functions in game though. Now for the first perk we actually have here, it says range overdrive. After using equipment, your range damage is increased by X for Y seconds. And now using equipment doesn't happen that often in this game, so I imagine the range damage buff here will be fairly substantial. Most range damage buffs in Space Marine 2 do not go beyond like 15%, but if you're using equipment, it doesn't happen that often, so it should go to like 20% plus maybe, and the uptime might also be very long, like 20 seconds rather than like the average 10 of this game, because really, you want to get a lot of value out of a perk if you're not getting a ton of use out of it, at least from like, using equipment. So having a large uptime and a large damage buff would be pretty good to make this useful. Next perk here is Sniper Lock. Shoulder gun now locks at a single target and fires powerful sniper shots. This could be really strong. Obviously, we do not know the actual damage of the shoulder gun. It could hit like a Nerf gun for all we know. But like if it is an actually powerful sniper shot and it has good target priority, that could be pretty strong. We'll see. There's also the same thing here for the gear perk tree. It's called Plasma Shot. Shoulder gun now guards a targeted area and fires exploding plasma projectiles at enemies that enter it. This could also be pretty strong. Once again, we have to know how much the stagger is, how much the damage is, and it seems like you have your base shoulder gun, and then you have the sniper version, then you have the plasma one, which is like 3 total, so that's pretty interesting. Next up, we have Arc Cleave. Damage from charged melee attacks increases by X. Now, charged melee attacks, we don't know what the charged melee attack of the Omnisaya axe that's going to be coming with this class will be. It could be really strong. If it's terrible, like the full throttle on the chainsword, this perk will be worthless. We don't know what other attacks, or excuse me, what other melee weapons will be on this class, but this could be a very strong perk with things like the Power Fist, depending on what they give him. But to be honest, we just have to wait and see until the Omnisaya axe comes out to see how good this perk actually is, what the actual damage buff can be. Next perk here is Weak Spot. Enemies damaged by equipment take X more damage for Y seconds. And this could be really good. I imagine it will put a debuff on the enemies for your whole teams. Like you throw a shock nade down, everyone in the shock nade takes way more damage. This could be really good versus bosses, and I do like the idea of having a more equipment focused build. This class will probably have amazing synergy with the secure stockpile perk on tactical that will give you back equipment every 60 seconds outside of his own team perks I'll get into later, though we'll have to see how much these damage buffs actually are and what the debuffs are. But like as a little bit of a buff to the class for the equipment use, this is pretty cool. Next we have Deflective Stance. After perfect parry or perfect block, you take by X less from range damage attacks for Y seconds. So this is like a percentage based damage reduction from range attacks for an amount of time. So I imagine like 10 seconds or something like that. That's usually how parry perks go in this game. Now this could be amazing because if you're unaware, Perfect Block already has a 60% range damage reduction upon gaining the Adrenaline Surge charge, which is just, perfect blocking in general for 2 seconds. And this will probably stack on top of that. So this could come out to like an 85% range damage reduction on a perfect block, which is pretty incredible. And also granting range damage reduction to perfect parry is also very good, because a lot of the time in this game, let's say like you're fighting a Ravener and you have to parry, you'll be parrying like multiple hits from the Ravener. The Ravener will be basically locking you down. and you'll be shot by like a devourer behind him or something like that, or in the case of a Terminator, a melee Terminator in particular, you'll be shot by a Rubik Marine or a flamethrower behind him. So getting like an 85% range damage reduction for like 2 seconds, and then 8 seconds after for like a 30% range damage reduction could be pretty strong. I really do expect this will be a 10-second uptime, and just getting any range damage reduction off of a perfect parry is pretty much unheard of in this game. So a really strong perk effect potentially. We will see though, because obviously we don't know the actual uptimes and damage reduction here, but I imagine it'll be pretty good. Next perk here is Equipment Mastery. Damage from equipment is increased by X. I don't think this perk sounds that good. Most equipment in this game already has pretty good breakpoints. The only thing this will probably affect is like a crack grenade and maybe like shock grenades. And if you have to give up like one of these perks here, I haven't actually done like the paid attention to where these would be in the actual perk tree and what you're giving up for what, but this doesn't sound very good to me off rip. Next we have Blood Rush. After a finisher, your melee weapon deals X more damage for Y seconds. I imagine this will be like a 25% damage buff. Most of the time, damage buffs for melee weapons are far higher than range damage buffs are, and it'll probably be a 10-second uptime because that's most of the perks for finishers in this game. So we shall see, but this could be a pretty strong perk. And obviously, you're doing finishers in this game all the time, and finishers usually count as like gun strikes as well in Minoris, so you can pretty much easily do this in a horde and have more horde clear. Could be pretty damn good. We'll have to see. Next up, we have Long Shot. Range damage at ranges greater than X meters increased by Y. I think that's could be good. This doesn't seem like it's that amazing of a perk. You aren't always out of range of enemies in this game. We'll have to see how this class actually plays, because like the general class identity in Space Marine 2 is pretty good, so we might be in the back quite a bit. But perks like this on the Bolt Sniper and the Heavy Bolt Rifle aren't that good in the first place, and I don't think this one's gonna be very top tier at all. Next, we have Marked Prey. Enemies hit by shoulder gun take X more damage for Y seconds. I imagine this will once again be a team debuff, so like all of your teammates will get this more damage buff, or excuse me, like this increased damage on the enemies for this amount of time, so that could be pretty good. Next, we have Unstoppable. While shoulder gun is active, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. I mean, this just sounds like a top tier perk, because no knockback in this game is always good, and not having no knockback sucks ass. And it sounds like while your shoulder gun is active, you'll be basically aiming and firing at guys like an auto target anyways, so this could probably be saving your life. I imagine it's pretty top tier. Next, we have Turret Synergy. Shoulder gun recharge rate increases by X when you stay near a sentry turret. Depending on how much this actually buffs your CDR, it could be pretty amazing, and also your sentry turrets kind of playing into your shoulder gun is a pretty cool effect. That sounds pretty fun. I could probably enjoy this perk quite a bit. I can already say right now that these perks sound pretty good across the board, far better than like most of the class perks already, and I imagine that by the time this class comes out, we will have some buffs for the current perks in the game's available classes now, but we'll have to see for that later. Next, we have Quick Cycle. Shoulder gun recharges X percentage faster. I mean, this is probably a pretty decent perk, like not super amazing. Next, we have Sentry Overlock. Sentry turret damage is increased by X, and the ammo is increased by Y. Depends how much your sentry turrets do here, to be honest. We don't know for sure, but if your damage on these turrets is already pretty decent, you get like a huge buff to them as percentage based on top of more ammo. This could be like a godly perk, but if the sentry turrets just suck ass and like they're only there for taking focus away from you, it won't be very good at all. Next, we have Tactical Salvage. Killing an enemy with a shoulder gun restores equipment. The cooldown is X seconds or something like that. This could be good. Having equipment restore in this game is pretty top tier, actually. The more let me go through this again. Killing an enemy with a shoulder gun restores X equipment, and the cooldown is Y seconds. So probably like 90 seconds here. Most equipment recharge in this game is pretty much just 90 seconds outside of things like Pattern of Excellence and Secure Stockpile. And I imagine this will be one equipment, though there is a team perk down here that gives you 2 equipment as like a base. So we'll have to see how that goes. But for the most part, equipment recharge is pretty top tier in this game. And this class has a lot of synergy with equipment already. Just also some of the perks we've already seen that this could be a pretty good perk for sure. Next, we have Insane Attack. Melee damage is increased by X for Y seconds after using shoulder gun. I imagine this once again be like 20% plus on your melee damage for like 10 seconds, because that's usually the uptime on things in the game. Next, we have Armor Harvest. Killing an enemies with a shoulder gun restores armor. Cooldown is like 15 seconds probably. This is a top tier perk, I can already tell, because armor restores in this game are amazing, and all you have to do is kill an enemy with the shoulder gun. So like I imagine they'll count for Minoris and Majoris and Extremis, and getting armor back that easily is pretty amazing. And getting armor off of your main class ability is always very strong in this game, so probably a top tier perk here. Next we have Hunter. Shoulder gun targets only Majoris and Majoris level or higher enemies and deals more damage to them if the target is more than like X meters here. This could be really, really good if you just want to kill Majoris. This might not have like the best synergy ever with Armor Harvest. I imagine you're probably giving up this perk or this perk for this, but we'll have to see. This one's called Execution Battery, killing or incapacitating Majoris level or higher enemies. The shoulder gun regenerates ability charge by like a certain amount for cooldown for a certain amount of seconds. This could be really good to get your CDR back, but we have to see how good the shoulder gun actually is. But these all sound pretty strong here. Next, they have shoulder gun marks a zone and automatically attacks any enemies that enter it using less energy per shot. This could be pretty good if you're trying to like horde control. We have to see what the stagger on it is. Like once again, guys, we don't know how good the shoulder gun actually is, so perks that buff it up to like make it focus on Majoris. If the Majoris damage is already horrific on this, it won't really matter if you get like a 20% buff. This might come out as like a godly weapon or a trash one. We'll have to see, but they did come out with the Pyroblasters recently, and the Pyroblasters are amazing. So I imagine they want to make this class pretty OP when it first launches so people will actually play it. So hopefully the shoulder gun's pretty good. Now, next we have Inflammable Rage. Shoulder gun shots set enemies on fire. Well, burning effects in this game are insane, so this already sounds pretty good off rip, unless they nerf the burn going forward, so we'll have to see about that. Now, for the team perks here, they have Bastion Feel. All squad members within X meters of an active sentry turret take Y less damage and deal X, like what, Z more damage. Yeah, this sounds pretty damn good. Having damage reduction in this game just for putting down your class ability for all of your teammates is always pretty strong. And damage reduction is very, very valuable in Space Marine 2, especially since like flat damage reduction will affect your armor, not just your HP. And some classes like Tactical have no damage reduction anyways. This could definitely help out him. This is a very strong team perk for sure. Next, they have Guardian Boost. All squad members fully regenerate their armor and gain X additional armor segment when using a healing injector. This doesn't sound that good. It depends how many stims you're actually finding in the game. Getting all of your armor back from the stim can save your life, and it depends when the armor actually comes up, because the way the healing injectors work in Space Marine 2 is you get all of your CHP back automatically upon using them, and if that doesn't actually take effect for the armor before you get your CHP back, you're just going to lose your CHP anyways. But the armor comes back first, and then you also get your CHP back. This will like guarantee that. That could be pretty strong. And then the final team perk here is Team Resupply. All squad members gain X additional equipment except for Melta Bombs, because they know that Melta Bombs are OP, so they don't want to give you two with like Secure Stockpile. This sounds like the strongest team perk here. Equipment simply saves games, and this would stack very, very well with a Secure Stockpile, where basically just be tossing things out, and like in between waves, you'll get your maximum equipment back very easily. Though, I'll be honest, guys, I think that by the time Techmarine comes out, the Secure Stockpile perk will be nerfed a bit, so we'll have to see about that. But for the most part, guys, these perks sound pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of choices here that sound pretty damn strong. That is way better than most of the classes in the game currently. I do like that they are leaning into like the whole equipment, perfect parry, shoulder gun stuff on this. Shoulder gun seems to be like a pretty huge part of the playstyle. There are way more perks for that than say like the sentry turrets. And having perks that like flat out change your class ability entirely is a really good thing for this game. And this class does seem pretty unique. I'll have to see how these perks actually make it into the main game, and hopefully this guide gave you a bit of, or excuse me, this video gave you an idea of how the Techmarine will play, because actually this looks pretty damn fun. Anyways, guys, that's all from me here. Let me know what you think in the comments below of the Techmarine perks, and as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy, guys. Bye.